today I'm joined by Sarah Evans from Cardea Lettings and Management in Oxfordshire. Sarah, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, David. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. You very kindly agreed to talk to us about your experience with the HMO network, which is doing some fantastic work out there. And we've said so before, but it always sounds best when we get it from the people that are actually benefiting from it. So perhaps just give us a little bit of background into your business and the sort of properties that you handle and
Yeah.
why the HMO network sort of came into your life.
So I launched my business in November 21 after being made redundant, and was working for a company that specialised in HMOs in the area. So when I sort of started the business, I thought, well, there's not actually that many companies that specialise in it. You can find the odd agent who will do a HMO here and there, but they're not really focused and don't really understand the legislation. So I sort of specialise in HMOs, mainly in sort of Oxford City and the towns surrounding, and thought, actually, I need something that is going to help me specialise in HMOs, be a member of something that is related to HMOs. So I did a bit of research and I came across Neil and Matt at the HMO Network. And they were quite early launching, and this is probably about 18 months ago now. And so yeah, I joined up, as one of the early members, and it's been fantastic ever since, really.
And it's interesting because we probably touch on two things here, but one is that we talk about this sometimes, but being an estate agent can be an awfully lonely place to be because competition is fierce. We feel that we let our guard down if we open up to somebody. And although we're getting better at having conversations together, it's easier if you're all part of a club, if you like, or an organization where everybody's got each other's backs. And the overwhelming response that I think I see from initiatives that Matt and Neil have launched in terms of even their dinner club that they have and the HMO network is that really what they're giving people is a sounding board, and they're facilitating that network of like-minded individuals who at last can share their stories with one another.
Absolutely. I think it's twofold. You mentioned being lonely, and as a new business owner, it's kind of you think, I'm the only person going through this. Has anybody else ever felt like this? If you're not having a good month, the landlords haven't been flooding through the doors, which they're just not generally at the moment. Is this normal? Is it not? Of course, when you're on your own, and like you say, we're not an industry where we share a lot and talk about things like that. So you kind of just sit in your own little bubble thinking, I'm the only person that this is going horribly wrong for. But when you actually start talking to other agents, and I think with Neil and Matt, they're really open about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's actually really, really helpful for me as an agent. And I know it's helped some others in the group, where we've had bad things happen or things haven't quite gone the right way. And other people go, oh yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, this is how I dealt with it. This is the best way forward. And then on the other side of it, it's sort of when you have a really good thing or you do something really good, we all have our different strengths. And I, when I'm doing things, maybe I've written a new terms of business or maybe I've written something different, I'll share it with the group so that we've all got that information. We can all be the best that we can be, providing service.
From best practice, because it seems that at least in my experience in the HMO space, the agents fall into three categories. The first is agents who say, oh, I don't understand that, I don't know how to do that, I am never going to do it, we just will not offer that service. If you need someone to manage your HMO, go and find somebody else. There are those people who fit in between that and they say, actually, we don't care, and they do it really badly and they're not following any of the rules, and they are trying to sort of correct mistakes as they're going along, and it's very, very messy. And then there's the third group, which I think you guys all fall into, which are responsible people who actually are demystifying the process of managing an HMO. It's not impossible, it's not rocket science, and it can be lucrative. And it's a specialism. Finally, we've got one, that really sort of has experts behind it. and it's about time you guys had your own network. But what's lovely is the way that you all refer to one another. I said this to you before we started. It's more like a family than it is a network. It's got that sort of vibe to it.
Yeah, 100%. We have a WhatsApp group which is pretty much on fire 24 hours a day, and it's not just business stuff in there. There's personal things in there. You know, we have a laugh. We're meeting in October, which will be the first time we actually meet as a group in person, which will be really nice as well. So it's just a really nice place. If you're, like I said, if you're having a bad day, you can just pop a rant in there. Someone will make you laugh. You know, you come across a funny tenant meme, it pops in the group, but then on the other side of it, we have serious questions. You know, so what softwares are people using? How have they worked this out? What workaround have they used for this? You know, how's your local council dealing with this? You know, I'm unfortunate in Oxfordshire that I have not only Article 4, but I also have selective licensing, and I now have additional licensing. So I pretty much tick all the boxes.
Your cup overfloweth with great stuff.
More regulations, but some of the other guys in the group, they've only got, you know, standard HMO licensing. So when it's going through process maybe to add in something additional, they're asking for advice, and it's really great to be able to offer that support, you know, to other like-minded people who are all doing the same thing.
So in terms of practicalities, just explain for anybody that's interested in becoming an HMO network member. I mean, first of all, I take it that you are a fully paid up fan, and that you'd advise any agent that wasn't a direct competitor of yours to sign up.
Yeah.
but in terms of practicalities, is there, you know, we normally say, well, what's the onboarding process like? What's the after sales support like? This isn't a service as such. So what is it like, and how do people get into it?
So it's really easy to get into. Just have a chat with Neil and Matt. You do have to pass quite a stringent test, if you like, just to make sure that you are a specialist HMO agent, that, you know, you have managed HMOs, that you are following the regulations, you've got all the right legal bits that you need. It is area specific, so you will only have one agent in the HMO network per area. So you say competitors, it's tough. I've got the seat. So if you're in Oxfordshire, sorry. But yeah, so then once you join, you get access to the WhatsApp group. We have a OneDrive, that's the one, which has got loads of information in there for HMOs, regulations, some template documents, lots of social media stuff that we can use as well, to highlight the fact that, you know, we're all part of a network, and we've passed a stringent test to get into the HMO network. We have monthly meetings online, so we have Zoom meetings every month where we talk about things that are changing in the industry, issues that specific agents are having, and is there anything that we can all do to help and support. And as I say, we've got our first face-to-face in October, and we're hoping to do them sort of quarterly or 6 monthly in the year. So there's always something going on, and Matt and Neil are always there to help and offer new advice and try new things. So it's a really good place to be.
Yeah, it sounds fabulous. And in terms of people that are starting their journey with HMOs, I know this isn't the direct purpose of our chat today, but it's interesting because there is that gap, isn't there? Knowledge gap, literally, and misunderstanding of what it takes to manage these properties. Would you say, look, that is a really steep learning curve, only get into it if you're absolutely committed to do it, or is it not that scary, or is there too much fuss around that?
It's not that scary. It just requires additional understanding of regulations. They are much tighter, they're much more monitored. Local councils, this sounds awful and I don't mean it to be, but local councils like to focus on HMOs because they're a bit of a moneymaker for councils.
Yes.
Because they can fine if things aren't right, they'll, you know, go and do inspections and all those types of things. So you really do have to be on the ball. So if you've never done HMOs before, my number one thing is you need a thick skin, because you will get lots of things thrown at you from random individuals, and they're not seen particularly positively by members of the public. You know, they see house shares as young party individuals. Yeah. That's not really the case anymore. You know, most of them are professional people now that, you know, just need a room or are only temporarily.
And yeah, they offer that great flexibility. I mean, that younger generation now wants to be able to work where they want, live where they want, and change that if they need to rapidly. And it's that is probably the future. When you talk about being a member of the HMO network, when you're talking to prospective clients, be that tenants as the beneficiaries of a service, but the actual client being your landlords that you're looking after, is that a sales feature? Is that a sales point that you're able to say, look, it's not just me, I'm part of something?
100%. I think in the HMO world, there are a lot of rent-to-rent organisations, offering that guaranteed rent. They maybe have just done a property course, and that strategy is their way to go. So you tend to find in this area, landlords will get a lot of offers from a lot of different people, saying that they can do this, they'll do no maintenance, there'll be no void periods, all these different things. But being a member of the HMO network is a real great selling feature, because it means that I'm registered with a body who makes sure that we're doing CPD, make sure that we're, doing best practice, that we're following the regulations, that we understand what we're talking about. And it kind of puts you a little bit of a step above the rest. A bit like as a normal letting agent, when you say you're an ALA Property Mark member, that kind of steps you up a notch. Or if you've done a qualification, if you've got MALA after your name, then that's something that puts you above the rest. And it's the same with the HMO network in this sort of space.
Sarah, thank you so much for giving your time today to talk about it and your experience. It's fascinating because I think it's a much misunderstood world, and it's given us a little bit of insight into that. But it's also fabulous to see the benefit that you're getting from being part of that wider network and family. And it sounds like it's going from strength to strength. And what's interesting is you're all contributing and lifting each other up. So you all play an active role in managing the future of that organization. It's not dictated to you, it's everybody's building it together, which to me, just there's something magical about that. It feels like the right thing to do. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. And if anybody watching wants to have a chat about the HMO network, feel free to get in contact. I'll happily have a conversation.
Thank you. Thanks.